Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Fourum podcast. This week we're sponsored by Kiev's used tank dealership. All vehicles have one previous owner, slight damage, chip paint, can be towed by tractors, new stock coming in daily. Thanks Kiev used tank dealership. This week we're joined by Casey and a very hungover Lewis and myself, Liam. Casey, you're going to have to carry the majority of this episode because me and Lewis are hanging heavily here.
Well, why don't we just start the show off with a question? What did you guys do last night?
So, we just went out for some drinks for work. Very hungover, too much wine. Half asleep, but
yeah. We played darts. We went to like one of them interactive darts places called Flight Club. It's quite cool. They've got some good games on there. I can't even remember the games, to be honest, but they are good. I think I won two games out of 4, so I was quite happy. Maybe 2 out of 5.
Interactive dart place? What's that? Like, what's the difference between just regular darts?
So the dartboard's hooked up basically to a screen and a kiosk type thing, and so you'll play games like round the clock. So you have to like get numbers to progress, or there'll be like knockout games where you can knock out other people. I can't remember the name of them really, but they're all quite fun.
Like there's Shanghai, there's like a Killer, there's like one like kind of snakes and ladders type game. Yeah. So like if you get like a 5, you go 5 spaces, and it was pretty good. It was good.
They've got them all over the place because there's a board that shows how many darts are thrown. And they've got a bunch in like America and that. Like it was just sort of scrolling through the locations. Seems like they're new in America because they only had like 6 million darts thrown or something like that, and the UK one sort of had 12 million, 18 million darts thrown. So, but it's good. I don't know how much it is. Like we didn't pay for it. We didn't pay for any drinks or any food. But so if you're paying for it, I don't know how like worthwhile it is. We've normally done axe throwing in the past, and that's like I wouldn't say that's affordable.
I don't know. It's just shit, to be honest. I mean, it's probably good if you're good, but I'm so bad that I just really do not enjoy that one. I found the Flight Club, the darts. We should have said this week's episode was sponsored by Flight Club, but the darts themselves were like, it doesn't matter if you're very good or like kind of shit. Like it's still not impossible for you. Whereas the axe one was like you were either okay or it was just impossible.
No, yeah, and I've done it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I always get like 2-3 points, maybe more than that. Sometimes I get lucky, and it is pure luck. And they teach you beforehand like how to throw it, and you're like, and then you see guys that are good at it, and you're like, oh, it's not a strength based thing. And they always say that it's not a strength based thing. It's it's all technique. And we had a guy who's a bodybuilder as well. He moonlights as a bodybuilder, and literally he got the highest score that anyone's ever got there. The guy said he was the best like civilian that walked off the street and got it. And at the end, because he won, basically they give you a challenge. You have to throw your axes at 2 axe boards at once and land them both. And if you do, you get a trophy and a t-shirt or something. And he nailed it. It was like, to him, it was effortless. So I think there's a combination. I think like there is a good way to do it on technique. But if you're strong, it does make a difference. Like they just stick more. They just embed more. So yeah, I mean, like if you don't have technique and you're not strong, it's like you're not going to get a point. Like the axe will never go in head first, right? But darts. It's not like regulation darts. You're not throwing it from miles away. They give you like 3 lines, and you can sort of step up. But I mean, to be honest, we were crowded around, so we were pretty close to the board.
It's like bowling with bumpers then.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but again, even then, like throwing darts, it's it's still quite hard to just hit, get where you need to go. But so some of the games were a lot of fun. Snakes and Ladders was quite funny because it was like done in pairs, so there were 12 people and 6 teams, basically 6 pairs. And like if you've been drinking a lot or you weren't paying attention. And like Snakes and Ladders, it's like if you were like 3 away from hitting a snake that would set you from like tile 60 to tile 2, like people would like not really look, not really think, just throw the darts. They'd get a 3 and they'd be all the way back to the start. So I think the drunker like people got, the less tactical it sort of became. But,
as it always is.
Yeah, which explains why the people just drinking Pepsi ended up with 5 wins. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
Why didn't you kick them out? That's not fair.
That's a strategic advantage, isn't it?
There was no prize, so it's like if we were playing for something, it might have been, well, it's time to go. But I mean, we weren't really playing just for our own pride, so we knew deep down that we were the winners because we were the ones who fucking sunk 12 beers or whatever the fuck we did. So.
I think we've definitely got into white wine. Free white wine is like,
oh god,
pretty next level. I think of all the work events, we've always got drunk on white wine so far.
It's always quite a good drunk as well. It's never like out of the control drunk. It's like but the problem with wine, I think, is it's like you very quickly forget how many you've had.
Yeah.
Whereas vodka, like, you're more cautious, so it's like, I'll have 4, I'll have 5, I'll have 6, and you kind of know your limits. But wine, it's like all vodka's 37.5 or 40%, whereas fucking wine, it can be like 8% wine or 15% wine. It can be whatever the fuck it wants to be. So it's a lot harder to judge.
Yeah,
I drink my go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I think there's other things that when you're drinking spirits, like, and you're drinking it with Coke or Red Bull, it's the other things that stop you. It's like the mixer, like, I'm very gassy. Like, I must have had a load of these. Or like the Red Bull, like, I can feel the Red Bull now, I must have had a lot of these. Whereas with wine, it's like, once you've had one, it's like the smoothest drink possible. You just get through it. Cold wine, it's like, especially white wine, it's like, it's just gone,
Okay, so let's imagine that you had to drink alcohol every single day for the rest of your life. And you had to choose one drink that you had to drink every day for the rest of your life. And I mean, like, twice or 3 times a day. And I'm going to rule out red wine because Italians do that anyway.
Yeah, and the French. That's like by mid-morning, they're at 3 sometimes.
But yeah, if you had to pick one drink to drink every day for the rest of your life, like something that you think you wouldn't get fed up with.
Seltzer! Oh no, fuck that.
Yeah.
No. Nobody say seltzer. That's cheating.
Yeah.
You can't have any alco pops. It's got to be a proper drink.
No frickin' fruity beer either.
Well, what about cider?
Yeah, that's what I meant with fruity beer. I forgot the
name.
No,
that's different. Fruity. No. Cider.
No cider. No cider. Fruity beer.
Oh, I see. Fruity beer. Right, okay, yeah. I thought you meant the other definition of fruity, but
no. I meant like fruit tasting. Fruit,
I think there's a lot of people in this country that would have a problem with you.
Yeah, I know. You guys love your cider, but I can't. I'd rather drink apple juice then.
But I don't think you've had proper cider.
Probably not, because I don't drink, like, if I don't, like, I've tried it and then I didn't like it, so I don't drink it. So yeah, I probably have not had proper cider. But it's not something that, like, if I see it on a menu, I'm like, beer.
You're a fan of ciderless.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's like one of those ones that you can have 2 of, and then it's either too sweet for your teeth, or you're just fucking bloated.
I think the problem is, like, you've not had, none of you have had good, like, the good side is like the Swedish stuff or the New Zealand stuff.
So Copperberg.
Yeah, Copperberg.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I've had Copperberg, but once you've had 2, you're just like, you need to brush your teeth. It's just like horrible on the teeth, and you're honestly, you feel like you're blowing up. But it's lovely. I mean, it's far nicer than drinking beer for me anyway.
Yeah, it's got a better taste than beer, I think.
No, I'd rather drink beer.
I don't think it's a better drunk, because you're just, again, it's sugar. It's just the amount of sugar you're probably getting in you.
It's not good for the hangover. It really isn't good for the hangover.
I think. Back to the question.
Back to your hypothetical. Like, how many times are we talking? Because it's going to be a difference between if I'm going to pick a light beer versus a whiskey,
Twice a day.
Or a bourbon. Okay, then I'll pick a bourbon.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I'd have, like, a fruity cocktail, to be honest. That's the better drink. But it depends where you are. Like, if you ask, like, a Russian guy, maybe not a Russian guy right now, but well, maybe. But they'd be like, if they're in Siberia, they're like, which a lot of them are going to end up in, by the sounds of it. But I think
Shots fired.
they'd be like, they'd say vodka, right? Because it's like they'll need to warm themselves up. They need something to like keep them going. You ask somebody in France or Italy or whatever, they're going to say wine. And if you ask an American, they're going to say light beer. I think like, and if you ask somebody from the Caribbean, they should say like a nice rum cocktail, shouldn't they? But I think that means that you're more American than Caribbean, Casey. How does that make you feel?
Not surprised. Not surprised at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love rum, but yeah, there's only Diplomatico is the only one that I'll drink straight, and it's expensive as fuck, and especially to get it here. And honestly, I don't know when is the last time I've had a mixed drink. I drink either beer or whiskey or white wine on the reg. So
I like my drink like I'm my woman, straight.
12?
Oh God, 12 years aged. Oh no, podcast cancelled.
Yeah. What kind of cancelled? What do you think of cancel culture?
Oh yeah, cancelled.
There we go. Good.
Good segue.
Yeah, good segue.
Oh, by the way, before we get into cancel culture,
Yeah.
what do you think of the Segway vehicle?
I mean, nothing says I'm here and I'm weird more than.
Technically, was that not cancelled? The Segway. I guess that was less cancel culture. That's just more.
Yeah.
It's so shit. No one's going to use it.
You look cooler rolling up in a wheelchair.
Is that the Paul Blart thing, or is
that is, yeah, Paul Blart, Moorcock, definitely, yeah. I guess that's what these hoverboards have become, right? These like, the ones you see sort of only in porn or a dickhead using, but.
Well, these electric steps also. I don't know if you see them now. If you guys have them over in England, but
don't think so.
It's just like you know the steps, right? The what a step is.
What, like in gyms? Or?
It's like no. Like it's like a little, like two wheels, and then you use one foot to push yourself like that, and then you can do tricks with it, and then when it hits you in your shin, you're dead.
But I like a one wheel. I think they call it or something.
But they have them electric now.
Yeah.
And it's just I've seen like a couple of people on them now, and I'm just like. Because everyone, it's usually bicycles here, but it's sort of slowly but surely becoming that. And
what happened? What happened? Yeah, because all the scooters as well, the electric scooters. What suddenly happened that made all these like electric motors small enough, cheap enough that everything can just be like the bikes now? All the like Uber Eats deliverers or the delivery drivers, they all have these electric packs on normal bicycles. Like what suddenly happened that was like there was nothing stopping people even back in Segway days.
I think people are just buying into the whole electric vehicle
and the environment as well. Like it's a big push right now. Like people, it's actually more of a pain to drive because you've got to fucking find places to park. You've got to do all that shit wherever you're on your Segway. No problem. You just fucking quickly pick up a bitch and then just
and if
straight back to yours.
And if you look at the companies, you can't find a company with an electric vehicle without them saying this is electric, it's green. Like it's just they use marketing ploy now too. So.
Yeah. True. I mean, isn't it ironic that all of that electricity comes from fucking coal-fired power stations?
Pretty much.
I guess it's a step in the right direction. Anyway, back to cancel culture because I totally diverted us with the Segway stuff.
Yeah,
that's a whole topic on its own. I don't mind talking about that either.
I've got something else to bring up in that. I'll put something in the sort of the topics to talk about next time. But there's a story that you probably won't know, Casey, but I'll save it for next time.
Oh, all right. But, I like stories.
Okay, so it's cancel culture then. So what's going on in the cancel culture sphere?
I mean, I guess we gotta define cancel culture before we rip it apart, right?
Yeah. So to me, cancel culture is basically like somebody can be like very prominent everywhere, like kind of like famous for something in some regard, and then the next day they're just literally wiped off the face of the earth. Like, not literally, but in terms of, like, digitally. Like, I mean, you've seen it with Andrew Tate. He was apparently the top G. He was everywhere. I mean, if you didn't see him, I don't know where the fuck you were, but, like...
Well, it's like, to be honest, so you say that.
Mm.
If you're on holiday for a month, right?
Mm.
I think Pokemon was speaking about this recently, but it was like, she was, like, away for a month. She wasn't streaming for a month. It was like, she got back... And she got back and she was like, I don't know who Andrew Tate is. Why is everybody talking about Andrew Tate? I've not been on.
I don't believe that shit. Like,
yeah, but then again, come on. I would really expect a woman of her age not to know who Andrew Tate is until, like, who's his target audience? Males our age. You know?
But it's true. But what I'm saying is his rise was so meteoric. It was like, I know he did other stuff and clearly he was making money and clearly had stuff going on. But there was like, nobody had heard of him. Like, be honest, nobody had heard of him. And then it was every other YouTube short, every other TikTok was him. You know, it was like...
Exactly, so how the fuck can Pokemon in a whole month not be on TikTok or YouTube or anything? I think that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
I don't know.
Yeah, just go in a bubble.
Yeah, maybe that's because, I mean, she probably fucking has to put up with so much, like, going on every day with, like, every time she opens social, it's like a fucking flood of people trying to message her.
I can't imagine what the unsolicited, like, Twitter DMs, like, what disgusting stuff is in there, to be honest, because it is bizarre.
Does that define disgusting?
One man's filth is another man's treasure, isn't it? But, you know, I've not been DMing her, I'll put that out there. But
no comment. Nah, neither have I. But no, that the culture in general. What do you think there? Because I mean, it's very much a new thing. Like, in terms of, I'd say maybe the last 10 years, and then like in the last maybe 5, it started to gather some real traction. That, like, it doesn't matter what you say, as long as it's controversial, it can now become like something that can really affect you. So, what are your guys' opinions on, like, cancel culture in general? Do you believe it's a problem, or do you think it's correcting what was wrong in the first place?
Well, okay, so I have the good story, and then I have the bad story, right? And I suppose you can find that in anything, any relevant topic, and any topic, really. So the good part is, you know how... Remember that, I didn't see it because I don't want to see it, but there's that documentary on Netflix about the guy that killed the cats? Or some shit?
Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
And so apparently moral of that story is when people work together, shit gets done. He basically got cancel cultured, if you will. People work together to find out who he is, and that worked. Great.
Yeah.
But then you also have the other side of things where somebody gets put in a situation where they look like the bad person. Nobody does due diligence, but instead works on ruining that person's life. And they've come to a point where now this person's life is ruined completely.
Yeah.
And there's no redemption for them. And in the end, they still find out through justice or, you know, anything else, really, that person did not do what they think they did.
I mean, that's like Reddit, the vigilante streaks that Reddit goes on. Boston marathon bombing, you know, blaming a guy who was like, I think he'd already killed himself, like terrorized the family. It's like, it's this guy, threw off the police, threw off the FBI, you know, just confuse things. It's like, vigilantism only works really when you're 100% sure that this person's guilty. I mean, that, like, there's problems in the UK now where people are just like being like self-vigilante justice types, like going after paedophiles. And it's like, fine, as long as you know he's guilty, you can't just go over somebody, you know, if you don't know they're guilty. Like that's the problem. That's the whole point of the justice system. Just cop them to the police, just save the evidence, send it to the police, you know, and you've got to trust in justice that will get done. If it's not, you know, then you have to go. You do have to resort to the next level sometimes, but you've got to make sure someone's guilty. But yeah, I mean, Reddit is like the perfect example of that gone wrong. But I think we're talking about two different things here. I mean, that's more the justice side. I wouldn't say Andrew Tate's done anything illegal or even suggested anything immoral. Well, no. Well, I wouldn't say immoral. I'd say he's not asked anyone to do anything crazy. I think Trump is probably the more black and white form of cancel culture. Him getting banned off Twitter and Facebook and that. And I mean, to be honest, that worked as far as I'm concerned. Like, I know he's on that other Twitter, the sort of the alt-right Twitter. I can't remember what's called, Ramble or Rumble or something, but it's like I don't think about Trump, weekly as I once did. I guess when he was the president, that's going to happen, isn't it? But I don't see statements from him. I don't know whether that's him not putting them out at such a volume, or if that's just because it's literally worked. Deplatform him, getting off Twitter's actually worked. But certainly for the Tate brothers, it's like there was a drop off of clips, but they're still out there. You still find people sort of hosting it secondary, but it's I don't know. I think honestly, you're better off having freedom of sort of expression, and then let the community deal with it.
I don't know. Like, if I look like, let's say, for example, Andrew Tate. Nobody's perfect. We've all hurt somebody. We've all done something we wish we didn't do. And so somebody with such strong opinions, and honestly, like, I saw a post about Andrew Tate, where someone was saying that he's literally just trolling the world right now, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. But wouldn't surprise me at all. But so for someone with such strong opinions like Andrew Tate, like, you're just gonna get a lot of haters, and they're gonna be looking for anything you did in your past to dig up and bring out, and then it's gonna keep coming, basically.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't even think it's just Andrew Tate. I think, like, you have to be so careful now because everything is so visible, and, like, it doesn't matter what you do. If you do something wrong, and people, it can be spread so easily. Like, I mean, TikTok's so quick to get fucking so many people to see things, and it only takes one person, or you fuck up once, and you can really ruin your career. Like, because, I mean, let's say Andrew Tate wanted to run for president, for example. 6 months ago, somebody said Andrew Tate's running for president. I'd say, okay, cool, it's another guy running for president. Now, if you did, I'd be like, well, that's a bit fucking dodgy. But it's just purely because, like, we give them, like, the internet so much power to fucking basically choose, or, well, to make or break it, basically.
You know what I don't like, though, about that dude? It's not, I mean, obviously I haven't seen, I don't follow him. I don't, I just see what other people post. It occasionally comes on my feed, or what a friend says or something. But they go check out this guy, he's so cool and stuff. And, I check out a little bit, and instantly I was turned off. I mean, don't get me wrong. He says some things that are true, but I mean, everything's a little bit true if you think about it. But I don't know. I just feel like he begins a sentence with me, I'm so cool, blah blah blah. Then lays it and then sandwiches it with another, because I'm on top. Like that type of thing. And that struck me right away with this guy. And obviously, I haven't seen all of his work, so I don't know if that's littered. But I've seen it a few times, and I don't like that.
I'd like somebody to do like a compilation of, this is how he used to speak 10 years ago, which you can do. They were public guys, like they're in Big Brother and stuff, right? But I'd like somebody to just go through, this was his speaking 10 years ago, this was his speaking 5 years ago, this was his speaking pre-Trump, and this is how he speaks now. I'd love to see, is it both Trump speak in, like, literally the sort of the vernacular, and also the sort of, like, is this a tactic? Like, I think you might be right. I think he's sort of like not a contrarian, but I think he just says whatever needs to be said to get trending the most, and then he has his, this weird Hustler University thing, basically reposting a billion times, But it was like I watched a clip post his cancellation. It was about the Queen's death, and he was basically saying how, oh, you were lucky if the British Empire ruled you, and all this stuff. And he said, at least they brought you schoolhouses and culture. And I was just thinking, he's just trying to infuriate as many people as possible. Do you know what I mean? Or he's trying to, like, he's taking something quite easy. Like, you could just said, "Oh, the Queen's dead." You know what? That's sad. That's weird. And then he said, and then he basically made it a divisive point, so that
Provocative.
people will, exactly, provocative, because then people will go and spread it, and they'll trade it, and they'll share it, and you know it will spread a lot faster than if he said something just a bit boring, just a bit basic, which is probably what he actually thinks. He's probably actually not that fussed. He doesn't care. But as he said, no, the Queen was a G. She had an empire. It was the best empire, you know, which actually she was never an empress. But anyway, you know, and he was just saying you were lucky. You know, you either had an empire or you either had an empire or you're ruled by one. So, you know, it's just like, yeah, it's being as provocative as possible so people will share it. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know, though, if just cancelling somebody is the best method, because you just drive people away. Like, if people actually like and respect Andrew Tate, and if they follow him off the platform, whatever platform he's banned from, and they go on his platform, that's the only voice they're going to get. That's the only podcast they're going to listen to. And they won't get the other side of the coin. They won't get, like, they won't watch women calling Andrew Tate a dickhead, misogynist, you know, or people having opposite viewpoints. They're only going to watch his stuff. So I think do it on the strength of the argument. Let him stand by his argument. Let him stay on the platform. And either his argument has credibility and people will flock to it and it'll flourish, or it won't. I mean, sure, if he breaks the law, incites violence, boot him. You know, fine. You know, that's what got Trump in the end, right? Trump did a lot of shit. Trump, you know, was calling for nuclear war at different points, you know, and that was fine because it was theoretical. But it was when there was there was an actual incident and you could point to his words ending up with actions, whether or not he meant it one way or the other. You know, you can't do that with Andrew Tate yet. You might get his followers doing dumb shit, and then you can start that course of action. But I think on jokes and bravado and misogyny alone, no, not really.
No. Because unfortunately, there's a bit of truth to most of what he says. I can't say all, because I haven't seen it. But,
oh my God, Casey's a woman hating.
Boo.
Pig. Boo, we knew it.
Yeah, that's it.
Big stalker.
Cancelled.
There'd be a couple of people that will probably agree with you, but no, I mean, you know, if you want to talk about, I mean, not that, you know, I take his word by gospel, but somebody who makes sense is, you guys know Jordan B. Peterson, right?
Yeah, I like Jordan Peterson.
So,
I've been practicing I'm Jordan Peterson. I've been practicing my Kermit accent.
Oh man, the man just he knows his shit. You know?
I think he does. What scared me off a little bit was he's quite. I don't know. I mean, it's okay when you're like his psychology stuff when he's talking about that. I'm like, fine, he's an expert. He's seen it. He's done it, right? And then it's like he's going off talking about faith and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not an expert, you know. And he's talking about a lot of history, and I'm like, I'm sure you've done some reading, you know, but it's like you're generalizing a lot here. You're sort of, you know, I think he's got I think the basic tenets of what he's saying are pretty powerful. You know, sort your shit out, you know, have a plan, you know, get up, you know, do shit. I think that's good. I think, you know, be strong. And I think where it becomes divisive is just, it's the whole women and men be different thing, you know, which they just are. And I think there's certain people where that can't be true, or it breaks.
Ian's a woman hater too.
Oh no, because
I'm just going to be silent the rest of the episode.
Lewis is automatically a woman hater. He doesn't need to say anything. He's on this podcast, so automatically you're a woman hater.
I'm coerced into this.
Oh, God. We're all going to be cancelled.
So cancel culture was very relevant.
It's been a great few episodes, guys.
It's been a long journey.
So yeah. Anyway, what's the difference between black and black raw?
Oh,
I'm sorry, what's that? Could you explain in your own words, Lewis? I don't. For someone who's never doesn't know what this is. Is that a children's book? Is that a?
sounds like a taxi company. I think it's
It's-
like Uber and Uber like
Yeah,
Prime
yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
So.
So I'll let you explain that one, Liam.
I don't want to. I don't want to spend another podcast. I think we've all 3 podcasts we've talked about porn. You know, worryingly.
What's
But
more
that-
relevant? But we're women haters anyway. So what else do we have? We love porn, you know.
Don't tarnish me with that, bro.
We gotta fit the profile.
If you say it enough times, it becomes true. That's the
And
only
the
way.
sad thing is, we've talked about like the biggest women haters, like Andrew Tate, Jordan
Exactly.
and now we're fucking talking about porn. Okay, change the subject. Let's talk about. Fuck, I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
What have you been doing, Casey? So we've just literally this week we've been Queen died,
Yeah,
and then Alcoholics 2 nights on the trot, and today it's just been trying to recover. Eating 40 quid's worth of Burger King.
Yeah, for breakfast.
For breakfast.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's better than my life. I mean,
Okay.
I've just I've literally been working on my thesis, which
Yeah.
I cannot talk about, but
Okay.
but
It's about women hating.
you'll read it soon enough when it gets cancelled.
Yeah.
And no, but the housing situation in the Netherlands, Jesus Christ, man.
Just
Trying to
you're winding down one at the moment, aren't you? Basically,
What do you mean?
like you're well.
Moving on.
You don't have any internet in your flat. You're like, there's just you in a bedroom now. It's sort of a bit.
No, my other roommate's here.
Okay.
He's still here, but yeah, it's just the 2 of us living the bachelor's life, and
It's when the electric and the lights go off.
One.
That's when you.
exactly when they start they already when the new neighbors come in, and I have to start living in the kitchen drawer. And you guys seen that?
No.
There was there was a story about some guy, apparently
Oh,
somebody's
yeah.
living in his kitchen drawer for like years.
It happens in Japan a lot. Like they'll have guys that just live in the basement, and they'll notice stuff. Like I swear I've seen 2 or 3 like stories about it, but they'll notice stuff like missing or changing or things disappearing, and then it's like they'll eventually put a camera in, and they'll just see a guy like basically crawl out of a space or the loft or whatever, and then eat stuff and then go back. But it's like it's like Parasite, the South Korean film, but it's mad. I
All right,
feel
well,
like
here's my question for you.
Go.
What the fuck would you do in that situation if that was your house and you
somebody was
saw
living in
that
your
on
house?
film?
And they were still living there, yeah?
I mean, you don't know. You just saw it on tape, so
Yeah.
you know.
I'd probably just what would you do? I mean, there's obviously there's fucking things you could do that would definitely get them out of there, but not legal, I suppose.
I think what I'd do is I'd act like I'd not seen it. So if they'd not seen me watching it back, like because they
right
might
behind your shoulder.
you just turn. No, like if they see you putting up the cameras right, you're fucked. Like if they know what's going down or they see the cameras when they come out the first time, you're fucked, right? Because they've seen it. Like they'll be waiting for the next opportunity, to run or to get you or whatever. But I would like
to stab you in your sleep.
Yeah, I would act. So obviously, I wouldn't go to sleep. Like I would act. I'd act like I'd not seen it, but I do gradually do stuff. So I'd like if it was like a door or like some way I could stop them coming out of that place. I'd do
set
it.
a mouse trap.
yeah, from Malone still.
Just plant a claymore in front of the door. No, bear trap or something. No, I'd like just block it off with something like heavy, like a bookcase, or if I could, or something. Or put something there that made a lot of noise if it moved. I'd then leave, and I'd probably lock the door if you can. Like you can't lock.
I've got a weird question. Could you get done for murder?
Depends on your laws.
Yeah, depends on the law.
But if you knew that person was there, so you intentionally leave your house, lock your doors,
Leave the gas on.
cement over everything, and give it 3 weeks. Because there's no way they would die because you'd probably run out of food.
Well,
They probably get out of a window, right, or something.
No, you cement it.
I think cementing it up a bit of it, maybe boarding it up.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that's no different than just like turning on like monoxide and just
just do the carbon
gasoline.
monoxide cable.
Technically,
you took no action to actually harm anyone.
Guys, just so you know. If any of your neighbors dies from any of the things you mentioned, the police are showing up at your place.
But it's interesting.
I guarantee.
It's so roundabout that it doesn't actually.
The thing is, it doesn't matter whether you'd get persecuted for it. I think you'd get away with that. If you boarded up the windows and was just like, I went to live abroad for like 2 months, and you came back and you're like, there's this god awful smell, you know. And even if you like told someone you're going to do it, I think you'd get away with it because it's so roundabout that it's just not. I can't see you getting prosecuted for it, and I definitely can't see a jury going, there was zero doubt this guy, killed this guy by boarding up his windows. You know what I mean? I think you'd get away with it. I mean, America's got some weird laws around, like there's like the castle defense law and stand your ground and all that, and I think there are like even like in places where you can kill people that are inside your house. I know this is a bit depressing, but there was a German student that a couple for some reason like basically were waiting with shotguns, and they put our handbag in a garage and lit it up, and were waiting for somebody to come in to just shoot them. I don't know if that's because they were trying to entrap like a certain person, or they were just getting robbed a lot and they were doing it. But the guy that turned up was a German student, a bit drunk. I think he was a bit drunk, but I think he was just trying to help. Like if you're a German student over there, you're probably gonna have enough money. If you're studying in America, you're probably gonna have enough money that a handbag in an open garage isn't gonna do much for you. I imagine he was sadly just probably gonna help and like shout and say, hey, you've left your garage open, you might want to close that, But they shot him, and they got done because basically, it's entrapment. You're baiting someone, It's
How
fine.
did they figure that one out, though? That's the thing.
I think it's just obvious, isn't it? You got two people shooting somebody within seconds of them entering a garage. It's like, I think it's not a robbery. You hear it, you panic, you run around. It's not like you're not waiting behind cover for somebody. But I think that's so removed. But
yeah. So let's imagine, right? We lived in a world, another hypothetical, but let's imagine we lived in a world that one day a year you got to commit any crime that you wanted to, and you were scot-free, and you were not allowed to rob banks still because, you're just not, because that's the easy one. So what would you do, crime-wise, if you could, and there was no consequences?
The amount of thoughts running through my brain right now. Wow.
This is where we really get cancer.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, which one can I say that's not going to ruin my reputation?
But the thing is, you'd be so worried. Like if it was like a Purge universe, you'd be so worried about other people that you wouldn't commit any crimes. Do you know what I mean?
I just couldn't. Like, I have such a guilty conscience too. Like, will that be eliminated as well in this hypothetical? Because if not, I don't know if I could live with myself committing. Like, unless it's like stealing €5 from the floor or some shit,
Well, I mean, you should move to the UK because, like, in the UK, we have the fucking weirdest and strangest laws ever. So,
True, yeah.
have you give a shit about your country? I mean, in the UK, it's illegal to fly a kite in public, and it's also so it's like so fucking stupid, and it's also like there's so many.
Tom Scott did a good video on ones in London where it's like carrying like a plank. Two people carrying a plank is illegal. There's all sorts of stuff.
That sounds like somebody fucked up so bad that it became a law.
It was probably like a member of parliament 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Walking out of parliament and just ran into a plank and was like, this is never happening again. Just like, I mean, politics was so corrupt back then that you could make like a personal vendetta into a law. You just bribe enough people and you can get stuff through. But I think a lot of it was like common sense laws that just didn't get repealed. It's just like they're so obvious that it's like you don't actually need to pass a law to get rid of them. But you know, it's like all those countries that are still technically at war because nobody ever bothered to sign like the peace treaty.
Mm.
And it's like only 800 years now are they getting around to signing, you know, oh, it's all right, you didn't steal the bucket, we stole the bucket, you won the war, we didn't win the war. You know, those types of arguments are finally getting settled. But it's like, it's so like banal that it was never worth actually settling that argument for 800 years.
Back to the hypothetical, I figured out my crime.
Go for it.
I'd never pay taxes again.
But it's only 1 day a year, so you immediately get diddled by the tax service the next day.
What do you mean?
Well,
yeah, because I said if you get 1 day each year where you can commit.
Oh, 1 day.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
You do it on the day you're filing your taxes. Can you choose the day of the year, or is it like purge? Is it just this is purge day?
Yeah, that's purge day.
Oh fuck.
Oh, it's a purge day. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess kill people. No, I'm kidding. Simple, but no. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's boring because that's what the purge is, anyways, right? Let's see. Oof, that changes everything.
What permanent thing could you do? I mean, it'd be cool to like not deface something, but like, deface something you hate. Like, you know, people would be blowing up Mount Rushmore and stuff like that, wouldn't they? You know, you just take the opportunity to like get rid of shit. Or like, to be honest, like if you disagreed with like a building regulation or like, you know, the way a road was designed, you'd get it all done that day. You just go around building stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like you get your extension done in 1 day, build that greenhouse. Do you know what I mean?
I'd hijack planes.
Oh, but then that never ends well, does it?
What do you mean? You don't trust my landing skills?
Well, it never ends well for the hijacker, and a lot of the times it doesn't end well.
But I mean, I can get away with the crime, is what you're saying. So nobody's gonna punish me when I land. So
if you land, I think that's the problem. It's if not when.
Yeah, keep in mind you'll have a plane full of people on a day where there's no crime. They can do anything to you and not get arrested. Fair. So you got to be careful. People are going to fight back.
No, I mean, okay, fine. Then an empty plane. Yeah, but if everyone has this rule, then it's literally just going to be the purge. I would
but that wouldn't actually. I think that's like a bad view on humanity that people would just go around killing people. What you'd actually do is you'd go like to your friend or somebody that like works. Okay, not in a bank or something, but like a jeweler's. Or am I like? I don't know if that's working around the question. Really,
but then the thing is, like, would they trust you enough?
No, but the thing
if they worked in a jeweler's, that you wouldn't say, okay, give me all your shit. I'm going to kill you. Sign this bit of paper. Like, would they trust you enough? Like, even as a friend, obviously you would have friends that you would, but it's still like puts your risk.
I think it would be anarchy, but I just don't think it would be people going around murdering people.
No. I mean, look. I'm not saying everyone's going to be doing that. I'm just saying few people will. And it's going to affect everybody's way of thinking. That's the thing, you know?
It weeds out the psychopaths, doesn't it, easily?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But the problem is you just need to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know? Or the right place at the wrong time, if you will.
I mean, I'd like to do some cool, like, street racing, just, like, around, like, Big Ben and that. You do it in all the cool places, but other people are going to have that idea, or they're just going to be out in the street, so it's going to be impossible to do.
Just move to Curacao, you could do it every night.
Yeah, they could be really fucked up about it as well, because like people will plan to stay in and whatnot. But if you were just like, right, okay, like random announcement, 10 minutes till purge time, then it's like everyone's like, fuck, I'm at the train station in London and I live 2 hours away. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? They could really make it fucked up, but yeah.
Yeah, but that makes if everyone gets the ability to do it, that changes everything, really. But if it was just me,
yeah, I think it would really help the homeless because, like, if you were homeless, could you imagine? You're like, that's probably the quickest way to get off the streets. Is just you've got a day, commit as much fucking crime as you want. Go and steal your way to success. Like, do whatever the fuck you need. But
I gotta say, well, okay, yeah, God knows what she's doing, but I have well, she's definitely on crack. this woman that walks around my neighborhood, and she literally just spends the night. Like the other day, she asked me if she could spend the night by me. 'Cause she doesn't have a place to sleep, and I was like, I was like, well, like my current situation at home is not exactly good. So, I mean, if I was living alone, I might let her, spend the night. But
Oh God, no, you can't. That's opening yourself up. That'll never end. You know what I mean? You'll
yeah,
inherit someone.
yeah, true. I know, but I mean, like, she's always in the neighborhood, so freaking see her anyway. So,
See,
but
I've had this thought where, like, back when me and Liz were in hotels, pretty much, like like 5, 6 nights a week. Well, I think Liz, you're in hotels 7 nights a week for years, but it was like sometimes I'd like leave my hotel early, like 2 days early or whatever, and like you'd be going past like a homeless person, and you're like, I could just give them the key, the apartment, like
yeah,
the hotel number. The only problem is like you don't know if they're just going to go mental in that hotel, like you know shit everywhere or break stuff or die in the bed or something like that. It's like you want to try and be good and give. I guess it boils down to like when you're giving them money as well. You're like, if you give them cash and they're an alcoholic, they're spending that cash on drink.
no, I never give them cash. I just give them food directly.
Yeah, you just got to ask them. Like they're quite good. I think they're good in this country now, where like there's not too many in Manchester. It feels like there's less than ever. But I mean, there's quite a few beggars, but the proper homeless, they'll like be outside, outside a supermarket, and you'll just ask them if we're going, what do you want? Oh, can I have a coffee and a sandwich? And it's like, that's fine. That's good by me.
Yeah.
If you're that desperate, if you're willing to be there and ask for that, I don't have a problem giving you that. It's just the people that just want change. It's like, I don't know you. I don't know what you're going to spend on that. Giving you money is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I had a moment this afternoon. Actually, a homeless dude came up to me. He's like, do you have like €3 or something? I was like, no, man, I don't have cash. And his thing was like, yeah, the shelters in the Netherlands, you need to pay €3 to stay in them. And I'm like, what? Like, like first of all, if that's true, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Like, as I can't believe that's true here in the net. Like
No.
shelters for like homeless people. Nah, they wouldn't make you fucking pay €3. Like no fucking way.
Mm.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's stupid, isn't it?
it's just so, and it didn't hit me then, but I was like, like, nah, dude, I don't have that shit on me right now.
What
So.
I really hate, I forget the name for him, but the
I was
you get
gonna
it.
say something.
Oh God, what were you gonna say? Women?
No, no, not women.
I guess they're panhandlers, that sort of thing, or where like you'll get it in London a lot on the trains, where it's like, oh, excuse me, guys, they'll come into the middle of the tube like carriage and be like, oh, excuse me, guys, I'm just trying to get enough money to do this or that. Or,
I've had that, and in London I had exactly that, and I never realised that was a thing.
Very
I never
common,
gave
yeah.
them any money, but like people were coming out with their cash and like
people paying money.
notes. He was like begging, "Oh please, I'm dying to get home. Like I've been in the train station since 6 a.m. trying to scrape together."
But then,
quid.
Why is that person not stood at a ticket machine? Why is that person like? They were always on the carriages. You've had to buy a ticket to get on the tube.
Yeah, because you can't go anywhere.
What they do is they will literally be on the tube on one line going backwards and forwards all day, and they'll try and the people who must feel the most stupid in the world must be the people that give them money and then see them like 7 hours later after work and go, I gave you 30 quid this morning. You said you were going to go home to blah blah, and you're still here asking. Those people
to make you want to beat someone up, and then you getting fucked.
You lose your trust in humanity over things like that. Like 30 quid's not nothing. It's a good amount of money, and people are giving it away to people and just getting lied to. But I mean, I don't know a good way of doing it. To me, the best people are the people that that just sit there with a cup and don't lie to your face. I'd rather not be lied to my face. I'd rather you be honest. Like,
yeah, same.
But then again, if they say I'm an alcoholic, I need money for alcohol, I'm probably not going to give you money, to be honest. You know,
Fucking con artists, scammers, and narcissists all have a special place in hell.
Yeah, I think when you're an addict, you are a different person. Do you know what I mean? You become. It's like Gollum. You know, you just straight up become Gollum. Like, give props to Andy Serkis. That's like that's what that is. It just shows you like you're tied to a substance that is like more important to you than life and death. Like, and people that you love. It's like you'll destroy relationships with your family. You know, that people that would and should love you unconditionally. It's just you've become such a different human being that you're no longer viable or functioning as a human.
Yes.
Well, that got depressing quick.
Yeah, I did get depressing. But I don't know what you do. I mean, obviously shelters and have people that are there to do it. Apparently, America's become like crazy. Like LA and that is just like tent city.
It's just one big skid row. It's literally.
But when it gets that big, what do you do? How do you break that up? Like you can't. It's become its own thing. Do you know what I mean? I guess what did they do in the Great Depression? I guess they just gave people jobs or told them you have a job now. You know,
I mean, they sort of got a taste of what it's like if they don't clean it up already. What was that whole was it the frick is that anarchist group called again? Antifa? Antifa, and they made their own freaking city in a few blocks. And was it Oregon? No, it was Seattle.
Seattle, yeah, middle of Seattle.
Freaking Seattle, and like just what a fucking clusterfuck that was. So I guess that's
it's funny how people people that think they're oppressed or people that actually are oppressed, you know, they have these complaints about how people treat them or how people act, and then as soon as they get a little bit of power, they do exactly the same thing.
It's hilarious.
They're walking around with guns. They're like beating people up. They're chucking them in unmarked vans. You're like, you've just become the very thing you swore to hate and destroy. You know, you what was the point? What was this fight about? You know, it's just people like power. They like, you know, they like having power over people, and when they get an opportunity to use it, to exploit it, they will. You know, it's crazy. I mean, I guess that's why you never really get an honest politician. It's because people are just like, I can get mine, I can get money, you know. And the only honest politicians don't get elected anyway, do they really? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's because they're not going to play the game, you know, they're not going to sort of, you know, they're not going to work with lobbyists, they're not going to basically shill out to people, they're just going to sort of do what's right, you know. You'll never see like a Bernie Sanders or a Ron Paul or anyone like that in charge in America.
No, you won't. Actually, it should be difficult in any country, really. Well, it depends on the country as well, obviously. But I just feel like to reach that level, anyways, your views and everything, your way of working, it just gets tainted. Like if you reach that level of politics.
Yeah. Double yeah. But yeah, talking about playing the game, what's your opinion on cloud gaming?
I've not done it, but based on playing with you, it sounds like it's come a long way.
I thought you were going to say something mean.
Yeah, what I heard in my ears was, based on playing with you, sounds like you've come a lot. But it was a long way.
Speaking about coming a lot, so
back to bottom.
Water-based versus oil-based lubricants, which is
no.
Come off cloud gaming.
Yeah, talking to cloud gaming. Yeah, cloud gaming. I've been doing it. I had first I had to go at GeForce Now or something. Well, obviously, first actually was Stadia. Stadia is good fun, but it's just the games. Like, I think there's just not enough of the big titles. It's like It's
such a weird subset of games. There's a lot of Ubisoft games and stuff like that, but it's very like there's not a lot on there.
Yeah.
It's almost
Uno's
like
not on there, right? Did you check if Uno was on there?
I don't know if Uno's on there. I didn't check.
I did. don't think.
But I mean, that's not the big name that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's the
you're not going to be paying $10 a month just to play Uno, are you?
dude, you haven't played enough.
Yeah.
But Stadia was not perfect. Like we did get lag even on good high speed internet.
Yeah.
You'd get like just drop frames and it would lower your resolution
And they're talking like 500 megabits a second, so like half a gig down. So it's like, yeah, you should be expecting 10 times better. But yeah, I think then I moved on to GeForce Now, which was okay, but it felt like it lagged quite a bit. And now I found another one that I'm using called Boosteroid, and it's like £10 a month, and it's like pretty fucking good. Like they're based in Ukraine, though, God bless. So
How long are they gonna last?
Yeah. So if I'm playing a game and I just disappear, then you know what happens.
I don't know if it's going at this rate. They're going to have servers in Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're gonna be the biggest country in the world.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I tried GeForce Now just as like an experiment, and I literally played Hell Let Loose, so FPS, like just standard shooting, and then I played it on GeForce Now, and there is like it is tangible like that, the response time, the fact that you're sending your input up, it's streaming video back to you. It does feel different. I mean, the Boosteroid looks a lot better. But still, it's like I'm saying this as somebody with a PC and games consoles and that. I wouldn't use it for like FPSs for like Twitch. If I was playing CSGO every day again for 6 hours, it's just an inferior experience. But I think it's fine for things that aren't Twitch shooters. I mean, turn-based, anything like that, story games, yeah, you're fine.
But even like, I mean, Fortnite's a shooter, but it's like. It's not. You don't need to be overly accurate. Like the hitbox is quite big, so like I think that's quite okay. Fall Guys I play quite a lot. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's not like you can't play. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're 3 seconds behind and you literally fail. Like you're getting through. Getting to.
Depends on the level.
Yeah, true.
But the thing that's interesting is when you play like it's like the way that they deal with lag is different. So when you play the Stadia. So what happens is when you're playing Stadia and you start to lag, it's like rather than the game becoming unplayable, it just becomes unseeable.
Yeah.
So it becomes extremely pixelated to the point that it's like you can't actually make out what the fuck you're doing. Whereas like these other ones like Boosteroid,
Steam Remote Play then.
Yeah, so Boosteroid, what they do is it's like when it's extremely laggy, then you feel the lag. So like when you turn left, it won't take 2 seconds to turn left, and then it'll turn left. And it's interesting the way that they deal with it. I actually prefer the Boosteroid just because it's better for me. But I don't know, maybe in America when the servers are probably closer to for the Stadia sides of things, it's probably better that way.
Yeah, I guess it's how close are you to your network or whatever, to your content delivery and all that probably makes a huge difference. But yeah, I mean, it's come a long way. I remember trying OnLive back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was like the first like cloud gaming thing, and it's like the big, you don't need a PC, to play PC games. And literally it lasted a few years. It just, it was not ready. Nothing was ready. People thought it was, but, even our networks were struggling just when Netflix started to pick up speed and YouTube. It was like just the sheer amount of people using that bandwidth was like huge, and to then put on top of it, cloud gaming where it's like you're putting in inputs, you're receiving inputs, you're streaming video. It was too much. It just didn't last. And I mean, Steam Remote Play is good. It's better if you're on the network with the person you're doing it with, but it's not perfect. Like you couldn't play like a Twitch shooter with it, really, could you? You can play a co-op split screen shooter on Steam Remote Play.
Oh, we did pretty good with It Takes Two.
Oh yeah, It Takes Two and the prison one. What was the prison one?
Prison Takes Two. I know.
Prison Takes Two. Those were good games. Like those surprised me. Both EA games.
Yeah.
But they're designed with that in mind. You know what I mean? They're more traditional online type games.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just it feels more like remote play. But no, I think it's come a long way. I mean, I'm a bit bummed because it's like, what have I bought this PC for? If in like 2 years it's going to be flawless, and you can just use your TV, or you just plug in a Chromecast into your monitor, and then you can play any PC game that we're currently playing. That's
But you
that's
can't
really,
play your DCS VR. So
well, why not? I think that'll be really difficult, and that'll take like 5 years. But maybe why not? Or they'll just have it on the VR headset. The VR headset will be powerful enough, or it will just stream, from the internet. Like how Microsoft Flight Simulator, that streams the terrain, doesn't it? Or does something. It sort of
but you
downloads
can
stuff.
download it's sort of like they cheated the system. It depends on how fast your internet is. But then again, you can also download high-res data locally so that it's always there, that it doesn't just load in. So, but no, because I'm thinking of like when I used to be part of that Air Wing and DCS, like of all the different branches we had, we had guys on the ground, different types of planes with different roles.
Wait a minute.
And all
You're
that stuff.
telling
Like I'm
me in a flight simulator game, there were actual people whose job it was to stay on the ground.
Yeah, we had JTAC on the ground.
Oh my god.
Like, who you think was calling in targets for the
That
A10s
is
and stuff?
so boring.
It's not, actually. It's pretty exciting for those guys. Because the thing is, DCS has the combined arms. I can't remember what it's called. DLC, where you control the ground units. You're basically.
Yeah, but it's not like an FPS, is it? Like you don't.
You can, yeah. Yeah, it's an
Okay,
FPS.
okay.
You're literally like viewing it from the ground and our
modders are the
third person.
best. Like modders give such like Skyrim or any game that you can mod easily.
Yeah.
It gives such a longevity to it. It expands the lifespan so much. I hated when they started to like take away like the sort of the workshop from games on Steam, or like Bethesda started charging like money for mods. Basically, it's like that's so short-sighted. People will keep buying your game because they see people playing a mod on it.
Yeah.
Like all these games, like on YouTube, you see people playing like Star Wars Squad, or like every game's got like a Lord of the Rings mod, or if it's fantasy or like sword based, every game's got like Star Wars mods and stuff. And people will go and buy that game, spend the full amount on that game just to like play the DLC.
Not even if it's fantasy. Look, Hearts of Iron 4, how many mods there are. Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all,
And it gets people interested in games that they wouldn't normally play.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've just put the dressing on it that it's Star Wars or whatever. It's like, cool, I'll go play a diplomatic, bloody turn-based RTS. Why not? But that's it's so short-sighted for companies to lock it off or charge money or say, oh no, that's game modification, you can't do that, that's cheating. Like it's different if it's a competitive game and it gives you an edge. It lets you see through walls, it lets you see where enemies are. Yeah, fine, ban it. But if not, what's wrong with it? Especially if it's like single player. It's crazy.
It's sort of like for example, the flight simulator community. I mean, you just have, like, if somebody described it the best. They were like, why would you pay, an entire price for a game for... So you buy Flight Simulator for €70, then you're buying a plane for €70, and each plane is like, that type of, that high and stuff like that, because they're basically study sims, as they call them. And then somebody explained it best. It's like, yeah, Flight Simulator is like buying your PC, and then the games are the planes,
By the way, Lewis is literally fallen asleep.
Is he?
No, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive.
All right, let's switch to
I watched him sink into his chair.
Yeah.
And then like look at his phone.
Yeah.
And then sink further into his chair.
Don't drink, kids.
And then open TikTok.
Yeah.
And then just fall asleep, basically.
I started because I was like, fuck it, I need to find Queef of the Week. And then I went on TikTok, typed in Queef, and it just led me down a rabbit hole.
Oh, God.
The mesmerizing queefs.
So you've just spoiled Queef of the Week, and you've not even got Queef lined up.
No, we'll add in post.
Okay.
All right, guys. Suspense for the Queef of the Week. I can't wait.
Okay, you got to find a Queef then silently, and then just bring it into the conversation. I liked how you did it last time. It was a nice little. I mean, we didn't even hear it the first time you played it.
No, we did.
Yeah.
All right, what do you wish grew on trees?
Wish grew on trees. I mean,
Just money. I guess money does grow on trees.
Technically, you printed, right? But
Wait, no. What are the? It's polymer now, isn't
I
it?
wish my Bitcoin grew on trees, but
grew on trees.
well, then again, that would bring the price down technically.
What would you want if you could have anything?
No.
that grew on a tree?
But the thing is, right? Take it serious. Imagine you're walking down a street and there's a tree. What is the? To be honest, apples aren't bad to be growing on trees.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Apples on trees are decent, but I mean, if you could have gold bars on trees, I'd prefer that instead. Unless you mean Apple laptops, so I'd still prefer the gold.
Just Mac stop
Yeah,
rain.
yeah.
His
Oh.
MacBook Pros ready for grabbing.
Winter's coming. Everyone runs out with the nets. Like Christmas is sorted this year.
I'm trying to think.
I think gold would be cool. It'd be cool if it sucked it out of the ground and just bloody deposited it. Do you know what I mean? It would be infinitely less valuable though.
I think for me it would be quesadillas, so I don't have to make them or buy them. You know?
Yeah, I guess it's the thing you want. Yeah, fried chicken. Just fried chicken falling from trees.
Yeah. I'm going with quesadillas. Lewis?
Yeah, probably gold bars.
Okay.
Gold bars, yeah.
Imagine the people that die each year.
I'm a material girl.
How would it lose its value if it was on all trees?
it
You know,
would,
it'd be shit.
It'd be worth nothing.
At least you'd be shiny and you could make gold picks.
Anything you could grow, right?
Mm.
I was going to say, anything that you can grow isn't really worth much money, is it? But
no,
I guess that's not true.
Saffron,
like caviar.
You wigged. Why do you think bread is getting expensive?
You can grow caviar.
Well, you grow a fish.
Grow a fish.
Oh yeah, fish grows, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you don't grow it.
But you feed it.
I don't think you can say you grow
not
caviar.
necessarily.
I don't think.
Okay. You can't grow caviar. You can grow a fish. I think.
No,
I mean, you can.
Fish.
You can breed fish.
You can farm a fish.
Farm a fish.
Yeah.
Anything you can farm, you can't make money, but I think you can, can't you? It's just again, you gotta inflate the rarity. That's what they do with emeralds, isn't it? And diamonds. So they just go, there's not a lot of diamonds, and there's just vaults filled with them, like Belgians and the Dutch as well. Switzerland just literally, they just limit the supply to inflate the price.
What was that movie called?
Blood Diamond.
No, that one's good too. But it was about a bunch of Jews that robbed this Nazi owned deposit box or some shit, and they had some jewel in it or diamond, and these people wanted it back because it belonged to I guess the Jews was the point of that. But it was I keep forgetting the name of the movie, but it was really good where they just robbed this bank. And they all end up going free in the end because of the way they came out of the bank.
Can't remember. Can't recall it, to be honest. Did you ever hear about the train that's buried in Poland?
No.
There's a train. So treasure hunters have found a train. They may have given out by now, but they found a train, and it's this is the train with all the gold on it. It's got Nazi gold. So at the end of the war, right, Nazis are just burying everything in salt mines, and they've got all the paintings, all the things they've taken that they're hiding. And
the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, of course they flew up there. The Graylians, the gay aliens, the Graylians. So one of them was this train that was supposedly full of a huge amount of gold, and they people have said, we put it in the siding, we put it in this tunnel, we blew up the tunnel, that's it, that's what we did, so they knew it was somewhere out there, and these treasure hunters have found it. They've used ground penetrating radar or something. They've got proof that they found it, and they've gone to the Polish government and they've said, we want a cut of this. We found it, but we want a cut of it. And the Polish government goes, no, we don't do that here. We either put it in a museum or we return it to its original owners or their descendants. And the treasure hunters turned around and went, okay, we're not telling you where it is then. So they're basically holding it hostage.
That is brilliant.
Because we've got rules here, like treasure rules here. Like if you find a Roman hoard or a Viking hoard, you split half with the landowner, and half. So even if it's going to a museum, you'll get paid the value of that treasure or what they think is the value of that treasure, and half of it will go to the landowner and half of it will go to the discoverer. So you've got a lot of people that will go around. Like there's even like a BBC series about it, but there's people will go around with metal detectors and just try and find like gold. And you've got people that succeed literally their first time.
I thought that was just an American thing.
No,
But
they love it over here. They'll just like dig up fields and find like treasure hoards. But and it actually works because you get a bunch of pillaging Vikings and they die on the way back, and it's just we'll bury the chief and we've got to bury him with like half our treasure. That's just the way it works. But yeah, you'll get Roman hoards as well. You'll get all sorts of like coins and stuff, and it's worth millions, and they just split it. I'd love to be that homeowner. You just buy like a crappy bit of land in the middle of nowhere.
Just start buying land, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite expensive over here.
Fair.
But yeah, and also the queen, well, the king, I guess, owns most of it. So it's you're up against stiff competition. Oh god, that's a bad pun about the queen.
Hey.
Oh, that's terrible.
You didn't even let it go cold before.
Oh, forgive me, Your Majesty. No, but yeah, I think that's the better way to do it. But I think Poland's sort of thing is, I think a lot of this gold is sort of, belonged to Jewish people, and they didn't have the best ending, and it's sort of, we can't just give it to some random treasure hunter. We have to give it back to, it would be a bit of an insult if the treasure hunters were German. Do you know what I mean? If they just claimed half the treasure.
I mean, finders keepers, right? That's an international rule.
Yeah, but I don't know how that resolved or if that story resolved itself. But the last I saw a couple of years ago, they were like, "Okay, well that's a shame," and just went off.
I feel like okay, the finders keepers, but if the original owners of that gold could prove through lineage and documents, that it is theirs, then okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But if not, then why the hell weren't you out there looking for it?
Yeah, a terrible one that's like that actually your people committed against mine. When I say your people, I mean the Dutch.
Okay, all right.
There was a grave, like a war grave, a ship, and it was like you obviously don't go and salvage a war grave that's got 1,200 sailors in it. Yeah. That's just beyond the pale. And the bloody bell turned up in like a Dutch pawn shop in a salvage yard.
Of course.
And it was like,
Of course.
Let's just say, I think that may have been since the Second World War the first and last time the SAS has operated in the Netherlands. But I think it didn't go well for those people, basically.
Yeah.
I heard rumours that the Dutch let in a few sort of white vans, across a border at some point, and things happened. But it's the bell is in good hands. But they had anchors and stuff like that, which they you can get away with. It's just a big steel anchor, but that is next level scummy in my opinion. To it's a graveyard. That's what it is. It's a literal graveyard. You don't go digging up corpses and taking their wedding rings. You don't go doing the same to sailors in their final resting place, but it's people have different morals, don't they?
Then how do you explain archaeology?
That's a tricky one. That's a real tricky one. Is there a time limit? Is the question. What is the time limit?
Who decides?
Yeah, who decides? I guess it's if you've got the force. Like the Royal Navy won't be happy about you going digging up any ship, but I think it's 200 years. I think, or maybe 150 years, ballpark. I think if there's a ship from 1850, 1870, I think you can dig that up. I think anything.
You set a rule like that. That's 70 years American confidential information thing.
Yeah, like when they declassify stuff,
Yeah.
I think that's the ballpark, you know. But some things are always going to be sacred. You know, there's going to be some exceptions to that rule. You know, like you can't just dig up, you know, famous people, you know, that are or like religious people that you know you're gonna inflame tensions, aren't you?
Yeah.
But
All right, that's a perfect segue to this next question. If when you die, you could cease to exist or wander the earth forever, never being able to interact with anything, which would you choose?
This forever, define forever. Do you mean literally for the end of time?
Yeah, forever.
Could
Until
you
the earth is swallowed by the sun, I guess. Because
could
then
you
you just
interact with other people in the same situation, or is it
no,
worse? Okay, so
you not interact with anything.
so basic, but you
You,
can see anything.
you'd literally be the perfect stalker.
Yeah, but you could see anything. Yeah, so like technically, you could travel free on fucking airplanes and travel around the world and
I mean, shit.
whatever.
I'm sure you could literally float across the Atlantic, like if you wanted to.
Okay.
but that's it. But this is it. You'd be bored.
You would go around the world.
And yeah, but it's forever. It's
But would you be bored? I don't know, because like the thing is, if you think about the world now to 50 years ago, it's so different. The world does change, so it's like, would you get bored of it? Because
but you can't interact with that. You can't drive a car. You can't use a VR headset. Like it'd just be like.
You mean you cannot literally?
Yeah, it says you cannot interact or never being able to interact with anything. Now I don't know.
Okay, I thought you meant with a person.
So
I don't know what anything means in this condition, but
like you couldn't get on a plane. Like you.
I think you could get on a plane. Ghost could get on a plane.
Yeah, but that's so. Let's imagine what a ghost is. That the hypothetical?
yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So,
we'll do two versions.
Can you kill yourself? Can you kill yourself when you put them up or not?
Nice and definitely, isn't it?
It's forever.
So that's it. Is could you do it? You know, could you?
I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would choose to just like that. Cease to exist. Yeah.
I think I would cease to exist. I mean, if I had the option of being a ghost for a time and like ectoplasming on people, I'd do that. I'd definitely gunge up some people. Do you know what I mean? Or just fuck about.
Fucking ectoplasm.
The fun of being a ghost is fucking with the living. Like there is no point being a ghost otherwise, because
there'd be a bunch of people's toes I'd be pulling on.
Oh yeah, definitely. A couple of sucking as well, sucking toes.
Oh god.
Just getting deep and. But no, I think we'd all pick just cease to exist. I think.
Yeah.
I think like it would be cool. Like if you could stop at any time, you would do the whole. It's like vampire as well. It would be cool for like a couple of 100 years, and then you go, oh, actually, you know what? I've done it all. I've seen it all. I'm a bit done. You know, that's always the sort of common thread in those vampire things, isn't it? Is like they just get bored of living eventually, or they just, you know, they go a bit nuts.
Yeah.
I think, I don't think any of us could cut it. You'd have to really love humanity and just want to like watch it grow and change.
Yeah. I think if you said if I had to do it for 100 years, like, and not interact with anything, I would do it just to see how things change. But if you say forever, like, I mean that probably is only about 50 years anyway.
Okay, here's one that's probably a little bit harder to parse and decide. So, would you, right, you can either keep living your life as is from now until your death, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Or, oh God. Or every single day you jump a year into the future.
But you would die in a bit.
But you would die?
No. You don't age. It's literally like you age a day, but you just jump. Like Time Traveler's Wife is it or whatever, you know.
Okay, so basically you would live till you're like 300 or something.
On paper you'd be 300, but your body would just be 100.
Okay.
You know, like 180 So so say you're married, right? You blink. But your wife's remarried. You know, she's divorced.
But then think about it, because it would be shit. Because you would, like, I think part of the things in life that make life meaningful is one, that there's a time, like that you feel like, okay, you need to achieve something, or everyone would just be lazy. So if you weren't going to die, then people would just be lazy and they wouldn't do fuck all in the first place. And second, if other people around you were going at the same speed, like the important parts of life, like getting to see your son fucking ride a bike for the first time and taking him to school and experiencing them like certain things, if you're jumping a month every day, then that would all fly past, because like the rest of the people around you aren't having this, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you'd
Yeah,
miss
nobody wants to
everything.
bury their children either, you know, like
Yeah, exactly. You'll miss out. You'll miss.
I think anyone with a family is never going to say yes to this, are they?
But then again, what the first option is to stay like this forever, right? So you'd still be burying your children.
No. You just live your life normally.
Oh,
So
all right,
you
yeah,
live and
live
die.
normally, yeah.
So chances are they'll bury you.
Yeah, it's pretty bad already. Like I don't wanna.
Yeah. But you never know. In a month from now, it might be good. So
Yeah, but
wait, and
But I think that gives you the better option of being like a ghost and not being able to interact, because it's the same really. At least you get to experience stuff and have fun. And like, say it was a year a day, so like you blinked, you went to bed tonight, you woke up, it was 2023. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it would be without like a support network, it would be really difficult, because you'd just be like, oh, there's a different family living in my house.
friends now.
You know, guys, the funny thing is we're looking at this like a massive hypothetical, but this does happen. Like people go in comas for a year, and then they come out and they're like, "Fuck, what's happened?"
Yeah, but they do age though in coma.
Yeah, they do age. Yeah,
but mentally they don't.
Mentally, it's the same.
There was a Netflix film about some cheerleader. It was Rebel Wilson, the big Australian lass. She lost quite a lot of weight, I think, but
they always do.
she had that where she was like cheerleader, hit her head, and then woke up. It was an okay film, like again Netflix comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to like lower your expectations a bit, but yeah, it was okay. But yeah, I think that would fuck you up. Just sort of being like, it depends how many years, right? Yeah. If it's a month, you'd probably just feel very rested. Like, I've had a good holiday.
Would you though? Because I don't know.
No, your limbs, you'd be like, I'm so weak. Like you just feel like,
it's like coming back from space.
Yeah.
Not that I know what that's like, but yeah.
But, Casey, alien confirmed. Exposed.
Dark side of the moon. I mentioned it earlier. Oh no!
It's all making sense. Somebody's just gonna there's gonna be someone listening to this podcast. They got a board up in their basement, and they're just connecting the dots.
Exactly. They're gonna have every episode. He said this and that and this.
Casey, woman-hating alien ?
And then it'd be like, oh, he's like Andrew Tate. He's trolling the world.
Yeah.
I don't. If I could be like I would probably do that. If I was like as relevant as like an Andrew Tate or something, like I would just pick something and like be absolutely serious about it, and then at the end just be like, yeah, I was trolling you guys.
Yeah.
I
honestly thought that Trump would do like that. Like he was a lifelong Democrat.
Yeah.
Like, he campaigned for Hillary Clinton. I was sure, I was thinking his drain the swamp thing was going to be like the ultimate Uno reverse card. It was like, I'm going to drain the swamp, you're the swamp. I thought it was going to be that sort of level of shit. I was thinking he's 4D chess master, and he's just literally he's like selling a product. He's playing his base, But I was like, oh, Trump, any day now. Trump's gonna pull the old switcheroo, and it just never materialized. But
maybe he started like that, and
just loved it too much.
He fell in love with the right, dude. It's just
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's it's who's gonna buy your Trump steaks and Trump vodka?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
your made in China Trump hats.
Trump hats, yeah. Make America great again. Chinese made Trump hats, yeah. Yeah. Right, guys. I think we're over an hour. I mean, we didn't get Queef of the Week. I'm
still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Well, we'll edit and post.
Okay, we'll edit Queef. Don't worry,
everyone,
guys.
let's react. What a queef!
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
yeah.
That one had some stank on it.
Yeah, I smell that.
I could taste it.
Yeah, I taste it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Yes.
You've been queefed of the week.
Get queefed.
Queef of the week.
Right, okay then.
At number 10.
All right, thanks for listening. I'll just edit the queef in.
Yeah.
Right as we're leaving. I'll just keep on a loop.
Yeah.
I love it, guys. Don't worry.
It's like that old school YouTube when it's
Outro.
like somebody wants to keep the video longer, so it's like 5 minutes of video
Oh,
and then just 5 minutes of black screen, nothing happens.
Yeah. Just heads up to listeners. It says our podcasts are all 10 hours long.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It's but
Just got some gas to let off.
yeah, we've got to get the algorithm up.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the ASMR edition.
The ASMR.
The queef is gonna be really silent. You're gonna get a nice wet and
The white one, wet and windy.
Amazing.
Right. Thanks for listening,
Yeah.
everyone.
God bless.
We'll see you next time.
Adios, amigos.
Yes.
Love you.
Peace out, queefs.